Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome to a place for healthy conversations. I am Ms. Empower. I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to come into the room so we can have a really healthy discussion tonight. We're talking about the importance of a mother's love. So I'm going to give a few minutes for some more people to come into the room. Thanks for joining me tonight. Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for joining me tonight. Come on in, giving a few more minutes for some more people to log on. Giving a few more minutes, guys. Hey, Rail, how are you tonight? Thanks for logging on with me tonight. Looking forward to a great conversation. So, for those of you that are watching the replay, I just want to tell you a quick give you a quick information about this page. I am Kim, also known as Ms. Empower, and welcome to a place for healthy conversations where we have really great discussions. We have videos on this page to help guide you through meditation, to talk about meditation. I've talked about a lot of different topics dealing with relationships. Um, I love to talk about things that will help all of us in the community. So, talking about the love of a mother and just how important it is to have that, I thought this was fitting for this week, and I'll tell you why as soon as we get a few more people to log on. We also we have Dear Ms. Empower, so you can send in a email if you have a relationship dilemma. It could be dealing with your children, your family. It could be dealing with your boyfriend, your husband, your best friend, whoever it is, whatever the dilemma is, you can write in to Ms. Empower, and that is MZZ as in zebra at gmail.com. So that's Ms. Empower, that's MZZ as in zebra, empower at gmail.com. So for Let's Talk About It Tuesday, which we are doing tonight, I always choose a topic, but I love to choose topics that I receive from my audience, which I call you guys my empowered friends. You are more than welcome to send a topic to me at misempower at gmail.com, and I will definitely look into it and let you know when we will discuss it so that you can be available that day. So today's topic is the importance of a mother's love. I chose to talk about this topic because my mom's anniversary of her passing was actually yesterday, and it marks 5 years that she has been gone. And I just wanted to talk about this subject because I've had a few empowered friends to say that they have a really hard time with their relationship with their mothers. Like they don't have that relationship. And I wanted to have a discussion just to see if there was something I can do to help people to kind of get through that and to understand. So, one thing about a mother, they have a really big role and they always have. So, if we go back to the early times, the mother did so many things. She had so many responsibilities, not only to be a mother, to be a good wife, and to keep everything in line in the house. And she not only had to nurture her children, but she had to nurture her husband as well. Sometimes she had to do little odd jobs to help bring in money as well. So the husband would be out and the father would be out making a living, but she would do whatever she could do to help as well. So the mother's role with the children was really huge. And she had that bond with her kids because she spent a lot of time with her children. Because the role is to be a nurturer, to guide, and to protect her children. And you can't mess with a mother's child and think that she's not coming for you. That's how deep it is because she forms this bond with her child even as she's carrying them in the womb. And when that child comes out, she normally has a bond. But there are times when that does not happen. And there are different reasons why that happens. In my case, that didn't happen. Like I totally had a bond with my mom. And I had a bond with every child that I've had, and I have three. And so I didn't, that didn't happen to me, but there are so many people out here who did not have a bond with their mother. And so I wanted to take the time to talk about it and see if we can just have a discussion. People, I want you to come in the comments and make comments on this as well. So my first question, I try to start with an icebreaker. What type of relationship do you or did you have with your mother? So while I'm waiting for comments, I'm just going to go ahead and jump in and talk about my relationship with my mother. I had a really great relationship with my mother. My mother, she was not just my mother, she was my role model. She was my best friend. She was my confidant. I could talk to her about anything. There was nothing that I had to ever be fearful about coming to her and talking to her about. She didn't judge me. She loved me through whatever that I ever had to come to her and talk about that maybe I was uncomfortable. She just always loved me through whatever I was going through. And not every person gets that relationship with their mothers. And there's different reasons because maybe the mother didn't have that relationship with her mother, and it can just be a trickle effect. And that's where we start talking about cycles that are created. So if a mother didn't have a good relationship with her mother, she may not have one with her children. And a lot of times that's not the case, but then there are some times where that is the case. Because sometimes not having that mother figure in your life that actually loved on you, you kind of struggle with how to do that for your own. And it makes sense because you are taught that through your mother. And not to say that the father doesn't have a role, but we're not really focused on that tonight. We're just talking about the importance of a mother's love. So, as I said before, the mother's role is always been to nurture, to guide her children, and to protect her children. And when we start talking about nurturing, that means pouring into your children. I struggle with knowing how to pour into my children. And I, for the life of me, don't know why, because my mom, she was that. She was just that to me, but I struggle with that as well at first because I really don't know. I really can't give an answer as to why I struggled with that, because my mom definitely was a role model when it came down to that. But it happens so often where it's a disconnect somewhere. But for me, um, as I grew and learned to have more patience, I became more of that mother that poured into, not to say that I never nurtured my kids. I'm just saying, getting to the point of being able to really encourage them in the way that they needed to be encouraged. That came later on in life, but nurturing, just holding them, loving on them, you know, I was able to do that, but I don't know, I struggled a little bit. And I think it was because although my mom was like that, my dad wasn't like that. So I kind of picked up on some of him, and I didn't have as much of her in my earlier years. But as I got older and started experiencing things and going through things, then I started to learn how to be more of that for my children. So let me read the first comment here. Okay, so Sherelle says, my mother was everything, no matter what the topic, no matter the problem or situation. We were able to talk it out. She had great advice, an abundance amount of love, understanding. She was honest. She was patient. And you know, it takes patience to be able to be that. So let's go back and let's think about this. So, I, as a mother, had my first child when I was 19 years old. So I was young. And although I had a role model in my mother and to kind of help me through the process, I still was my own person. And when you're young like that, you don't all the time know what you should be doing, saying, how to handle different things. And in raising children, it's not easy. Um, but I am thankful that I had someone there that could help me through the process. Although sometimes I felt like I was a little stubborn and I wanted to handle things in my own way. Yes, I take your advice, but I'm going to stick to what I said. And that was kind of stubbornness in me, right? Even though my mom was trying to show me some different things and tell me some different things. But as I grew older, um, I was able to try, kind of move forward, in my life to the point where I could pour into my children in a different way. And I can leave that stubbornness to the side and I can learn how to be more patient and be that real nurturer that they were needing. And although it came a little later in life, I was still able to do it, and I feel like it came at the right time because my children, they are going into their adult years. So my oldest, she's 29. My son, he's my middle child. He's 22, and then my youngest is 21. So as I got older, I learned to be more patient, but that came from my mother. And the moment that I started to, be her caregiver, I started getting these patients that I had never had because that's what I was lacking, patience. Because a lot of mothers, they lack patience, and that's what keeps them from getting and having the bond that they want with their children because they're not being patient enough to listen to them and listen to their needs. So let me see. Hey, Cousin. He says a mother's love is unparalleled to anything in life. And that's absolutely positively correct. And it's not just the mother's relationship with the daughter, it's the mother's relationship with the son. Because I have daughters and I have a son. And when I say I'm so instrumental in their lives at this point, even in their adult years, it's important that we are speaking into our kids, encouraging them, still guiding, still nurturing, still protecting, it's important, guys. It's so, so important. Queen Love, how are you? Thank you. Hey, Rumi, thank you for joining me. I appreciate everybody for joining me tonight. We're talking about the importance of a mother's love. So, can you guys tell me, what was your relationship with your mother? Did you have a close bond? Or let me rephrase this. What relationship do you have with your mother now? Or what relationship did you have with your mom? I know it takes a minute for comments to drop, but yeah, so it's very important. So Queen Love says, my mom is my hero, point blank, and the period. Beautiful, classy, phenomenal, great shape, educated, kind hearted, and didn't play. Baby, she had a look that would stop you in your tracks. Okay. My mom was a sweetheart, but baby, do not make her mad. Do not get her there. You don't want her. You don't want no parts of her. That's all I'm saying. Um, my mom would fight for her kids. Okay, Felicia. Okay, because I was wondering who Queen was. Um, so yeah, her mama. I mean, her mama. My mom would fight for her kids. Period. My dad too. But okay, she didn't play when it came down to her. So that's why I said a mother's job is to protect her children. Um, so Noreen Rumi says, so because I lost my mom at a young age, I wanted to make sure I was that mother that my children could confide in no matter the situation. I didn't want them to experience the pain of not having a mom. Absolutely. Um, your situation is like so many others out here, where they weren't able to have that relationship with their mom because, for whatever reason, whether the mother was taken away from them in death, or maybe the mother just decided not to really be a mother to this child. And what happens is when you start having children, you become overprotective. Um, you become some parents, and this might not be speaking to you, Noreen, but you can tell me if I'm right or wrong. Sometimes they become overbearing, not even thinking about boundaries because they're going to do everything in their power to protect their children, right? Um, and sometimes not having or knowing how their mother was with them because maybe they were so young, or they were so young before passing, or they just weren't there, that you are kind of making up your own rules as you go along, and you're protecting them in any way possible by you're just being overprotective because you want them to have the best life. You want to show them how much you love them. Now, you probably can pour all the love into them, but there are some things that are lacking because you missed out on that mother figure. You missed out on that. So, that makes you feel like you kind of puts you at a disadvantage because since you didn't see it, you're doing whatever you think that you can do as a mother to be protective, to be nurturing, and to guide them. You're doing it in the way that you think you should. Am I correct on that? For people that actually resonates with. I'm sorry, guys. I meant to put my phone on do not. I'm blurred. Somebody said I'm blurred. Am I blurred for anybody else? And I wonder if it does that when I come closer to the screen to try to reach our comments because you know what? I did not bring my glasses down here. Let me put my phone on do not disturb really quick, guys. Sorry about that. Um, okay. So yes, let me go back to your comments. Okay, so going to rail, right? Yeah. Although my mother was exceptional with me, it took me time to receive all she had to offer. I had to grow into it. Then the light bulb went off one day. Then our relationship became so much easier. And real, that's awesome because I think it was the same way for me. And sometimes, y'all, I have aha moments. I be riding down the street and it'll come to me something my mama said or something she did. And I would get so upset with myself because I didn't catch it. Now I get it. But I guess things happen for a reason and they come when they come. Um, because the moment that God allowed me to have those patience and grow up a little more, then I could be patient with my kids. So last week I shared something that my son said to me one day, and it made me really think. So he said to me, Mama, sometimes when you talk like you all the way up here and I'm all the way down here. I can laugh about it now, but when he said it, I actually stopped and I thought about it. He wasn't being disrespectful. He was just saying to me, Mama, you act like you never did anything wrong in your life. And you being hard on me. Give me a break. You know, you act like you are so perfect or you are above me. You know what I'm saying? So when he said that to me, I took it in, and from that day forward, I took more time to listen to what he had to say. Because as a parent and being a single parent, it's not easy, to raise your children. And you are praying that you are doing it correctly, and you don't have all the answers all the time. So when he said that to me, I said, okay, I'm gonna take that in. Let me start listening more and let my son say what he needs to say. And so at that point, I think he was 18. He had just turned 18. And I had to take it in and I had to listen. And we have to do that as parents. We can't browbeat our kids, you know, and even in their adult years when we feel like they went in a different direction than we wanted them to, or they're making some choices that we don't like, what you have to do is you have to talk. You don't browbeat them. You sit down and you talk to them. Be that nurturing, that loving. Y'all make sure y'all loving on your kids. Nurturing, loving, protective of your kids. Make sure you are being all that you can be to them. Let me keep going. Thank you, Shantae. Um, okay. So Lauren said, yes, I really didn't experience what you're actually saying until my children were in their late teens. It's weird, but I'm weird. Laugh out loud. You're funny. But yeah, When yeah, those teens, it'll bring out some stuff. Now that's the hardest years to parent, because your children are learning about themselves, and they're learning to be who they're going to be, and those times are crucial. That's why I say that's the time where you really should be pouring into your kids. You should be showing them what life has to offer. Don't allow them just to see what is outside the window. you know get them out, show them things, show them what is out here other than what they're seeing every day. This is when you should be really pouring into them so that they can grow up and be the best, children ever. The best humans, the best citizens. We're creating the next generation, right? That's going to take over. So you are a part of that. So you have to pour into them, which means you have to listen. Um, Thank you, sis. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so Real says, I tried to take all that she gave me and pour it into my children, but I realized I had to tweak some of it because my children were so different from me. But they got the basics and we built on that. Absolutely. Your children may not be you. Everybody has their own personality. And I had three children and they were all different, and that I remember them saying, and it came from all three of them. I think you treat this one different. I think you treat that one different, and I told them, you're correct. I can't treat everybody the same. I can't raise everybody the same because everybody is different. That would be unfair for me to raise you the same way I'm raising your sibling over here who is not like you. You're different. And that's just what it is. We're all different people. So, once I explained that, I don't know if it was okay then for them or what it was because we never talked about it again. But, I gave them an explanation why it's different. I didn't deny. I'm honest. Everybody's different, so you have to raise your children accordingly. Um, Let me see. So Sherelle said, I had to learn how to listen more and talk less with my children, just like you, cousin. I was coming off a little harsh or hard, and they let me know, at least my daughter did verbally. you know, um, Lord knows. Starting off, I was, God. I had to go back and apologize about different things. I talked about that last week as well, when I talked about having the tough conversations with your children. Um, but I did. I had to go back and apologize. And I felt like they would do that, you know, because listen, we have to think about the fact that the parent goes through some things in their lives. Like they brought some baggage into that relationship with their child, right? And sometimes our baggage leaks on to our children. And that's what I was talking about earlier, how you become overbearing and not having boundaries with your children because you're literally thinking about what you experienced in your life that you don't want them to experience. You want their life to be better. So I'm going to go about it this way. You're parenting in fear. And that's exactly what it was. I had my first child at 19 and I leaped onto her because I worked hard for her not to be me. I didn't want her to have a child her first year of college. I wanted her to get the full college experience. I wanted her to go on with life and travel and do her, enjoy your life. And then when it's that time and you find and that young man finds you and you all decide you want to get married and have kids, go on. But who am I to tell her how to do it? That was the way I wanted her to do it. And I leaped onto her. So I had to go back and apologize. But she was very understanding because she's 29. But I think at the time that I apologized, she might have been about 27. And she said, I understand. She said, because of the age that I am now, I don't know how you did it because you are a mother of three. So she must have been 28 because I was 28 with three kids. She said, you had three kids, and I don't know how you did it. She said, I'm still trying to figure myself out at this time, and I don't know how you did it, but I understand now. So by the time I went back and apologized, it was fitting because she understood, but I had to give her some backstory, you know. So let me read some comments here. Uh, So Rail said, absolutely the baggage. And then she said, my daughter asked me, stop putting my fears on them. Absolutely, because that's what we do as parents because we want the best for them. That's where the protection comes in. We work hard to protect them from anything that's out there because we've seen things, even if we didn't experience it, but we saw somebody else experience it. That was always my problem. Um, my son, oh my God, I was so hard on him because I never in my life wanted to get a phone call that somebody took my son's life. I never wanted to get the phone call that my son was in prison. You know, so I worked hard at parenting him and trying to instill in him the things that I felt he should know. And I'll be honest when I say I did too much, but he understands, you know, because I'm able to talk to him as well, you know. So, guys, if you have a story you want to share, go ahead. You can put that in the comments. Um, but that bond between a mother and child is so important, you know, for those that have not received that bond. See, I had a friend that I wanted to come on with me today and talk about this because this is something that she has experienced throughout life. And I really wanted her to be able to speak on it a little bit because I feel like she'll be able to help a lot of people, you know, because I know there are a lot of people out there who did not have that bond with their mom. I had a Facebook friend who posted not having a relationship with his mom. And it was Mother's Day, and he just really didn't even know what to do because they didn't have a mother son bond, you know, and it felt weird for him. But he talked about how he loved on his own kids. And I said, look at you breaking cycles, you know, it's important. Those things that you saw as a child coming up, you break those cycles and you keep moving, but don't do the best you can not to parent in fear and not to leak onto your kids. I always say bleeding onto your kids because I know that I did. I worked hard for them to be better than me. And I always tell them, you're going to be better than me. You know, I want you to be your best, but you're going to be better than I was. And I have learned throughout life not to be judgmental of anything that they talk to me about because I'm going to tell you something. My mom, she created this environment um, for me. It was safe. You know, I remember um, finding out that I was pregnant with my daughter who's 29, and I was away at school, and I had been rushed to the school hospital or clinic, and they told me I had an ulcer. And so I wound up getting sick again, so I went to the hospital. And the doctor said, yeah, you have an ulcer that's going to last you 18 years. And I was devastated. I was like, oh my God, you know. But I walked outside that room and it was a payphone in the hall. And the first person I called was my mother. And I said, Mama, I said, guess what? She said, what? I said, I'm having a baby. She said, you are? I am so happy. I mean, she was so happy. So, that made my heart just do so much. I was overwhelmed, but to know that she was going to support me in this was everything for me. No judgment there, you know. She had already just jumped into grandma mode, starting to buy stuff. I had a baby bed, by the time I made it home for spring break, and she was excited, and that's how we should be as mothers. Sometimes things happen. Your child doesn't necessarily make the decisions that you thought that she should, or you thought that she would, or you thought he would, or whatever. And it's okay. It's okay. Life is not over. You still be there, and don't be judgmental, and love on them and continue nurturing. Even with them having a child, you nurture. We hear so often about um, girls that come home and they're pregnant and their parents put them out, and that's the worst thing you can do, is to throw them out there to the wolves. You're not thinking about your grandchild, you're not thinking about your child, period. It's all about you and what you feel. It's your judgment. You're worried about what people are going to say about you, but you're not worried about your child. That's the most important thing. So that's my example. And so I learned how not to be judgmental, because I was the most judgmental person that you probably ever would have met in your whole entire life. I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss anything. Um, so you make sure that you continue to love on your kids and don't judge them. Listen to them, guide them in the direction. I have a cousin who is gay, and I remember talking with my auntie, and I was grown then, we're just having a conversation. And she said she knew that her son was gay, and she helped him come out of the closet. So, she probably never thought in her life that this would be what her son's life would be. And especially during those times, it was really hard to come out the closet because it wasn't accepted. You're worried about what might happen to your child. There are so many thoughts that probably goes through the head of the mother. But as a mother, she still nurtured him. She still, poured into him. She protected him, and she guided him. You know, so what happens though, guys, when you don't have that bond, with your parent, with your mother? What happens? What happens if your child doesn't have a bond with you? What do you think happened? It creates trauma for them, number one, right? What are some things you think happen when a child does not connect with their mom? They don't have that bond. Put it in the comments, guys. What do you think happens? What do you think they experience? But while I'm waiting for you all to comment, I just want to say a lot of times it comes from something, maybe from childhood, or it could be the current situation, in that mother having that child. Sometimes it's that situation. Like sometimes a child is born and a mother, maybe they don't want that child for whatever reason. Maybe her and the father are not together. Maybe the father wasn't accepting. It's a lot of reasons. And so that's why it's important to listen, and it's important to have conversations. Communication is so important in our families. Mothers, daughters, sons, you should be able to sit down and have conversations about what it is that you're feeling. That's a cycle that needs to be broken where there's a lack of communication in the family. Uh, okay, so you were asking me to repeat the question. I was dog it, y'all. Oh, I said, what happens when a mother and a child does not have a bond? What do you think happens to that child? Okay. So my queen love said anxiety, fear, low self-esteem, disconnect, loneliness, powerless. And I would have to say that has to be true because that fear that comes in, especially when you're parenting your own, because of you didn't have a bond with your parent. That anxiety, am I doing it right? That anxiety, do I fit in? I had a few things here. A lot of times they lack balance. They look for safety, because the mother is supposed to be the protector, but if the mother doesn't have that bond and they're not protecting them, they don't feel that type of safety. So they're looking for safety. They have insecurities of not belonging. You all can continue commenting if you would like. They're looking for, some people are looking for acceptance because they don't feel accepted. You know, um, they are guarded, they are defensive. Uh, and we talked about how it causes them to be overbearing. Um, hey Gail, thanks for joining us. So, what about in Noreen's situation? Noreen lost her mom at an early age, and just not. And Noreen, if you're still on here, um, do you remember anything about your mom, like the love that she, showed to you? Because I'm trying to remember what age you were when she passed away. So Noreen is my roommate from college, and one of the sweetest women that I know, and loving. And although in college it didn't seem like we had much in common, oh my God, we had so much in common. And I just love her so, so much. But her situation was, like I said, her mom passed on early. So in raising her kids, um, she didn't have that role model, or that person to look at in how they mothered. So, she just did it. And a lot of people are in that situation. Either they lost a parent or maybe the parent just wasn't around, so they didn't have that role model. Because in my case, I had a role model. I didn't always take the advice because I wanted to parent on my own. But I don't know. I just feel like I was thankful for the advice, though, and just thankful to have somebody to sit down and talk with about the different things that I, was going through as a parent. So that mother's love is important. We have to know that it's important to show our kids love. Um, when you love on your child, oh my God, they soar so high. There's no limit on what they can do. I always say, because I always hear people say the sky is the limit. No, mm-mm. There is no limit on what you can do. And I poured that into my kids. I let them know you can do whatever it is that you want to do in your life. Okay, so Noreen is on here still, so let me read her comment. I was 11, and the only thing I remember is how she spent as much time as she could with me and my brother. She took us everywhere with her, including class when she was attending college. And, that speaks volumes about the type of mother that she was because she took you guys everywhere with her. A lot of people don't experience that. My mom, she was the same way. Sometimes she took me to school with her. Sometimes she took me to work with her. Sometimes I didn't feel like going to school, and I would want to just be with her, and she would just take me with her. That's the kind of love that my mom had for me. That's how I felt like she showed me so much love. And one thing about her, she's a loner like I am, so she really didn't talk a lot. But me, when it came down to us, we talked. We talked about everything. Um, So Noreen says, as for her character, I only remember that she was the life of the party and family events. Oh, that's awesome. So were you able to take some of her love and her nurturing that she, gave to you and your brother and pour that into your children? Or did you feel like you kind of lacked what you needed as a mother because she wasn't here? And because you lost her so early on? I just want to say I appreciate all of you guys for logging on with me tonight for this conversation that I truly enjoy talking with you guys. If you have a topic that you would like to see discussed on Let's Talk About It Tuesday, please send it to me at Ms. Empower, and that's MZZ as in zebra, Empower with the EMPOWER at gmail.com. And I will definitely let you know when we will be discussing that. Let me go back. So Rail said, I never wanted my mother to leave my eyesight. I was a big old third grader, still crying in the class because I want my mommy. What a mess. And I'm still like that today. I miss her so much. I know, real. I understand. I dedicated um tonight's conversation to my mom because yesterday marked year 5 of her, getting her wings, and going on to glory. So I just thank and praise God for her as, her as my mom, and just God blessing me with her, you know, um, just to do all the things that she did for me, not only just me, but my children, my brothers and their children, and so I really thank her and thank God, for her. Let me go back. So now Noreen says, I believe so. According to what people tell me, how well mannered and loving and sweet that my children are, as well as funny, that definitely came from her. That's awesome. So there are pieces of her within them, and that's wonderful. I love it. Um, Sherelle says, I never wanted my mother to leave my eyesight. Absolutely. In my younger days, when my mom would take us to my grandmother's house so she could go do something, I would cry because I did not want her leaving me. I'm like, no, why I can't go? So, of course, after a while, I started to understand, okay, she need a break, whatever. But I would cry. I'm like, no, why you can't take me with you? I was her baby, her only daughter, her youngest child, So everybody always said I was her first princess. And I so love and miss her. And real, I truly understand, how you are feeling about your mother, because that's a hard thing, to deal with when your mother leaves, through death and you never can see her again, you know. But my mom, I know she's with me. And although, I hadn't had any dreams about her where she actually interacted with me until February of this year. And she was coming to give me the approval of something. And the way that played out, I was like, oh my God, there was nothing but God trying to show me what I needed to do through my mother, because as always, she's always had my back. She was letting me know right then and there, I have your back, honey. Go ahead. I need you to go ahead and take care of that. So, what more can you ask for? So let me read on to the comments here. Uh, okay, so Noreen said, and thank you for the compliments. I will say you the coolest roommate. The only thing that clashed with us is you were way more mature than I was. You thought, huh? She said, I love you to pieces, girl. Yes, I love you back. I don't know. Was I that much? Well, I always have been old. Um, Rail says, I certainly believe spiritually that my mom still walks with me and talks with me each and every day without a doubt. Oh, that's such a blessing. Now, I have had dreams of her, um, where she would be in the dream, but she never interacted with me. She was just sitting there in the background and not saying anything. There were times she came in my dream with my brother, and my brother was interacting with me, but she wasn't. She was just always there and just quiet. So when I had that dream and she was talking to me, I was like, oh, I'm supposed to be listening to something. So I took it all in and I took her advice. Um, so Noreen says, that is awesome. Bless your heart, Miss Real. Absolutely. Um, when man, oh man. But I'm gonna say I did such a good job yesterday. Every year I work hard at um being stronger, not having my mom, and it's the hardest thing because my mom loved me so much, and I never cared about who didn't love me because I had her love over here, and she showed it on a regular basis. It wasn't a I love you thing, it was her showing me that she loved me. Um, and so that to me means everything. I don't care about somebody telling me they love me, but I care about whether you show me that you love me because that's more important than somebody telling you that. Because anybody can tell you they love you, but if they don't show you and their actions are different, you better believe that they lying. That's all I'm gonna say. So getting off of that, because y'all know I'm going in the wrong direction. But yes, so make sure that you are continuing to protect and nurturing and guiding your children, even in their adult years, guys, because they still need it. I know I still needed it when I was an adult. And my mom was still here. And my dad, he's still to this day, we have to have certain conversations, and, he'll try to guide me in the right direction with certain things, So we have to continue knowing that just because our children are grown, we doesn't mean that we stop doing all the things that we were doing before. They still need us, And if you look back, for those of you that weren't on here when I first started, the role of a mother back in the day, they did a lot of stuff. They not only nurtured the children, they nurtured the husbands, They kept everything together in the household. They even took on little side jobs to help the husband, make things meet. You know what I'm saying? Make ends meet. So the mother had a lot of roles, and we can't stop here. We can't stop there. We have to continue on. Now that is a cycle that should keep giving, keep on giving, and that is continuing being that nurturer to our kids and guiding and protecting them in the best way that we know how. Um, do you guys have any comments, any questions? I feel like this conversation is going to come back later, but I'm just going to build on it a little more. I still have this person that I want to bring on. She may not be on the camera, but she'll be mic'd, and you will hear her speaking. So I'm working on that. But I really thank you guys for taking time out of your schedules tonight. You could have been anywhere else, but you decided to be with Ms. Empower tonight. And I thank you. I appreciate you all. I'm going to wait a few minutes to see if there are any comments that come across before I end. Thank you, Noreen. Again, you have any topics, you can email them to msempower@gmail.com, or you can go to Facebook and inbox me at Kim Empower, or go to Instagram at Ms. Empower. Um, Anytime you're looking for encouragement, you can go to my Instagram, you can go to my Facebook, and you can come here on YouTube and get something. I just downloaded, I'm sorry, I just dropped my guided meditation video. So those of you that would like to start learning how to meditate, it's going to walk you through it. Like I'm walking you through the whole process. It's about 9 minutes long. And then there's a video that I also put up to talk about meditation. So it's out there as well on YouTube. So take the time to go out there and check those out. Um, Share with people that you know. And I'm really hoping to, touch as many lives as I can with the meditation. There will be more meditation videos. I'm going to try to be as creative as possible. And I'm looking forward, guys, to doing as much as I can to continue empowering you guys. Any suggestions, something you're looking for that you haven't seen yet, please make sure you email or inbox me. So, guys, with that being said, I'm going to end. This has been Let's Talk About It Tuesday with Ms. Empower. Have a great night.